Hello everyone and welcome to patch 8.3's first challenger analysis. Today we are again looking at Emdiel, who is playing Misfortune on his not on his Smurf account on the EU West server, currently sitting in Grandmaster, so has not hit has not hit challenger yet this season, but he is playing against Team Fnatic's AD carry, which is Rekkles, and he is on Tristana. By the way, he also has not hit Challenger yet, he's also in Grandmasters currently. And this will be an interesting match, because here we get the chance to see how my, Frilla's build rather, how Frilla's Corrupting Potion build does against the best of the best. So Emdiel does start with the Corrupting Potion first. Skill point in E, however, which is something I don't agree with. I would put my first point in W just for pushing and level 2 advantage. But obviously the upside of going E first is you can instantly start to harass with your Arcane Comet, and this is exactly what he does. So currently, well, Rekkles is not too far down in HP, but as soon as more points get put into the E, it gets a lot better. Okay, so now W on level 2. Alright, so the rune page real quick. Well, Emdiel is first of all known for going full lethality, no boots, and his rune page for this game is my favorite rune page, by the way. Arcane Comet, Manaflow Band, Absolute Focus, Gathering Storm with Cheap Shot and Ultimate Hunter. So the thing is, if you go Manaflow Band plus Corrupting Potion, which is what he did go for Corrupting Potion first, you have enough mana to spam your E in lane, pretty much on cooldown, and well, obviously E has very far range, and Arcane Comet is pretty much guaranteed to hit, and Cheap Shot will trigger because E is an AoE slow, and the damage is applied over a period of time, which gives Cheap Shot enough time to trigger. So it's very much harass in lane, especially now he's level 3, he should have, well, okay, put a point in Q, you can do that, but I would prefer if you put another point in E there, because it's still expensive, it's 80 mana per cast, and if you want to use your Q on top of that, you're just running very quickly. And Emdiel right now using his first Corrupting stack to get a little bit of mana back, and it's pretty... Yeah, you see non-interactive. Tristana has low range, and even though Rekkles is a great player, he cannot really do anything about that. He is super low health right now, and he did not get a single chance of retaliation. So, by the way, this is still, even though crit items got buffed, this is still the best item build, or well, the best way to play Misfortune in this patch. You go for this rune page that I just told you, and you go triple lethality. And then you can go even more lethality, or what you can do now, since the crit items got changed, you can just sneak in an Infinity Edge there, which gives you a lot of AD and also a little bit of crit chance. So you have multiple options, but the first 3 items should be 3 lethality items, in my opinion. But we'll see what Emdiel builds. I think he just goes for lethality, as he always does. And yeah, Emdiel obviously goes full lethality. I think I saw before the game he goes full lethality and no boots, but I didn't really look properly. I also like to get surprised by what happens in the match. I don't want to get spoilered. Okay, but the enemy bot lane is probably recalling right now because they are low on health, and 41 farm, that should be enough for a BF sword. Tristana, Rekkles out farming Emdiel a little bit, even though they are under a lot of pressure. So we'll see how that goes, because Tristana is obviously hard scaling, and with the crit changes she's very strong. So if Emdiel cannot get a lead early on, that will be troublesome for him in the late game. Okay, he's level 4, and he put another point in E, which is very good, because that's what you need with this build. Oh, not a BF sword, she came back with Berserker's Greaves, okay. I would guess attack speed is important for Tristana. What was that? I have no idea. I guess attack speed is important for Tristana because you... Why is the replay lagging? I don't know. Something strange is happening, and also this just popped up. No, okay. Okay, we're fine. So Emdiel with the Serrated Dirk, Tristana with the Berserker's Greaves. It does make it easier for her to apply her explosive shot. It generally just helps farming, I guess. Yeah. So right now, Emdiel cannot do much. She needs to wait for the wave to reset, because minions deal a lot of damage. So he wants to farm those under tower. Don't lose too much health against the Morgana. And then he can start harassing again. Because what you typically want to do, you don't want to... oh goodness. You don't want to just E them. You want to E and use the slow. They try to run away from you, and you want to use the slow to get an auto or just sneak in a Q bounce. This is the optimal trade, or not trade, but the optimal harass. They cannot really trade back into this, which is the good part. Ooh, nice crit. Yeah, that's the beauty about Emax. It sets up the minions perfectly for your Q. Even though you only have Q level 1, it sets them up perfectly for the Q to crit. So ironically enough, going Emax Misfortune makes it way more consistent to land Q crits. But Morgana being low makes sense to focus her with your harass. First Drake is Ocean Drake, by the way, so the junglers should be interested. Nidalee versus Shyvana. So yeah, Shyvana definitely has a lot of early Drake pressure, which is something to keep in mind. But currently the bot lane seems rather quiet. None of the junglers paying too much attention to it. But now the enemy bot lane is missed, which means they probably are helping the Shyvana there, right there. We might have a look. Ah, okay, they just went for the... what is it called? The honey fruit. Yeah, to get some health back. Which is also a fine play. The very greedy Q. Alright, the lane gank. It was so clutch for Emdiel not to get hit by the binding right there. That would have been a dead misfortune. That's for sure. Yeah, scary lane gank. I didn't see it coming really. I thought Morgana was just trying to get an engage on her own. But yeah, Shyvana was waiting right there in the bush. Yeah, but good on Emdiel not to get hit there. Wow, the Morgana checkmated. Let's look at this again. Okay, so the Rakan flash engages them with his ulti and the knockup. And the flash is important, so Morgana does not have time to cast a spell shield to block the CC. And now Emdiel places his ult right in... well, in this angle it hits both of them first of all, and secondly, Morgana can only run out this way, which is what I just called it a checkmate situation, because that's what it is. She can choose by either getting killed by the ulti or walking into tower range and getting killed by the tower. And this is exactly what happens. She tries to dodge it and almost finds a corner there where she is not under attack, but the tower still aims for her and now she's dead. Yeah, that was very well played. Very nice Rakan initiation and very, very nice Misfortune ulti. The angle was so clutch there. And yeah, Nidalee is bot side, so they might use this as an opportunity to go for Dragon, if they can set up a control ward, that is. Because you never want to attempt a Dragon without making sure the enemy doesn't have vision. Yeah, okay. Nidalee just trying to create pressure on the Tristana, but she can just jump out. Yeah, it's really pointless. Tristana is a very safe AD carry if she has a jump. Well, she is low range, which makes her a little bit more all-in heavy, so when you commit, you typically commit also with your jump, which then makes it risky, but if you are just farming, then you have your jump up and you can just stay safe most of the time. So Rakan recalled, Emdiel did not recall, probably because he thinks Tristana is pushing a little bit too fast, and he doesn't want to miss out on all these minions. Yeah, Tristana is definitely very good at pushing also because of her explosive shot. But so far Rekkles has been playing it very conservatively, which is good because, well, late game scaling and early game heavy. Rekkles' win condition is to not get bullied by the Misfortune too hard early and not give her kills. And if you can reach the late game with even-ish items, as far as gold value, then he will win, probably. So playing risk averse is definitely the correct choice here. Let's look at the gold. 2000, yeah, that's a lot. Both of them have 2000 gold in their inventory. Wow, why didn't he jump out? Did he not have his mana, or what happened? No, he's full mana right there. I want to see how that happens. He's even spell shielded. Just reacting too late, I guess. Yeah, they just get destroyed right there. I'm not too sure. He should have been able to jump out on reaction. He even was spell shielded, so he did not get denied by the Rakkan's CC. Yeah, that was odd. I wonder. I mean, probably he was distracted or did just not react fast enough. And you have to keep in mind Tristana's jump does have startup time, so maybe he was already casting it, but it was too late. Yeah. Definitely avoidable, but it happened, and it happened to one of the best AD carries. So, what can you do? I mean, mistakes happen. Interesting item choice, by the way. Rekkles going for BF Sword plus double dagger. I would have guessed Infinity Edge Rush is optimal, but maybe for Tristana you need more attack speed to get your explosive shots more reliably. So that's why he goes for BF Sword into Zeal item, into then Infinity Edge. Maybe that's what's happening. And we see Emdiel's items. He is at Duskblade first and 2 long swords, so no boots, as we all know, since yeah, that's what he always does. But also Duskblade first, which is also something very typical of Emdiel. He really likes his damage. So, well, I would argue that going Youmuu's first is better when you don't buy boots, since the Youmuu's active is sort of a pseudo boots effect, which allows you to not be as immobile in team fights. But Duskblade obviously just more damage, 3 more points of lethality, and the passives are also quite useful, and well, they do enhance your damage. Alright, Ocean Drake has been taken, which means lane is pretty much won. However, mid is getting ganked by bot lane, which is nothing I see too often, but very nice play, and Tristana getting a 600 gold shutdown. And Rekkles is definitely able to do something with that, but let's have a look at what is happening right there. I was too focused on mid lane right now. Alright. Okay, so this is the initiation. Misfortune gets caught off guard by the Morgana binding. And I think Rakano goes all in. Oh, the Shyvana is also there. Yeah, that was... Oh, okay. The Shyvana was just waiting in the bush. Yeah, that was brutal. They tried to rotate mid lane too to help, but they got trapped in the bush without them having vision. Yeah, that spells certain death, obviously. And this is where it gets dangerous. Getting the crit AD carry fed, and then giving a shutdown to the jungler. Alright, yeah, but he does have enough gold for another serrated duck and a longsword, keeping his damage high. But they might lose tower. Tristana is so good at taking towers. She has an attack speed steroid, and her E works on towers, as you see. Getting all the platings. Oh, that's rough. Tower is still there. So at least it could have been worse, let's put it like this. Yeah, but what you want to do right now on a macro scale from Red Team's perspective is, well, Dragon is not on the map, so you want to play around Rift Herald. And from a bot lane's perspective, obviously you want to take the tower first, so not losing the tower there is huge, because if they take this tower first, they get an advantage on the rotation, so they can rotate top lane, create pressure there, play around Rift Herald, which is what Nidalee does right now, by the way, which is good. But I think Tristana and Morgana will, yeah, there they are. was about to say they will be coming back soon, and there's the gang from the show. Yeah, okay, Morgana is not there yet, so it's a 2v2, and they are already running towards safety. So nothing happening there. Because, well, Misfortune is obviously quite fast when she's not hit, even without boots, and oh my god, these clutch flash engages. And then nearly quits, alright. Ouch. Yeah, the teleport coming in clutch, but it was actually a very nice play by the Rakan, just the teleport was messing with them. Alright, we can have a look again. And the important part again is the flash engage. Keep an eye on that. Yeah, you see the flash right there. It's very important to do this so the Morgana does not have time to spell shield on reaction. And now she's charmed, she cannot spell shield anyone. Emdiel tries to burst her down, the Tristana heal coming out though. And now she spell shields Rekkles, and well, she's immobile, so she cannot get out of Misfortune R quick enough, obviously. Goes down, but the Sion teleport coming in, and Sion being full health and the tank being in their face with Rekkles still alive. Yeah, that doesn't go as planned, but it was a nice idea. The only problem was, as I said, the Sion teleport, and playing around a top laner with teleport who is very much map aware is difficult. So what could have gone better there? I don't think Emdiel and Rakan made a mistake there necessarily. The problem is they were overcommitted already, and Sion reacted immediately. Morgana was dead, maybe just start running immediately after Morgana dies, maybe that's what they could have done, but again, then you just risk of Sion ulting after you and a half-health Tristana just bursting you down. Yeah, so fighting there is probably the right play, and it's not like, well, at least Sion moved away from top lane, so maybe Fizz could have gotten an advantage. But, well, I'm not so sure about that. It is a tough situation to be in. I don't think Emdiel and Rakan necessarily made a mistake there. But again, I also like to think that if you die, that's your own fault. But in this situation, I am not so sure about it. Right, tower falls, and that's what I mean. Tristana took the tower before Misfortune did, so she could rotate top lane and take the tower there, which is what Emdiel would have liked to do if he had gotten the chance of taking the tower first. But what can you do? So now he took the tower and he needs to leave this place immediately, because, well, you don't want to get ganked or caught out of position, rather. Let's look at items again. So he has both components for Ghostblade. Yeah, Dustblade, Ghostblade, and then Edge of Night. Emdiel, however, also likes his Last Whisper item very much, so we might see a Lord Doms as a third item. Dragon spawning soon. And it will be Infernal, so that's huge. Especially for Misfortune, because all she does is stacking AD. And starting Dragon without a control ward, that's brave. I don't like this. In solo queue I would always just put a, well, this is solo queue obviously, but I would always just put a control ward right there. So there is zero chance of them seeing the dragon's HP bar. But well, they got away with it even without a control ward. However, they might be losing mid tower for this. Platings have fallen, which means the towers are rather easy to take. And also Tristana, as I said, is very good at taking them. Yeah. And the spell shielded Tristana is scary, especially when piloted by a professional AD carry such as Rekkles. And yeah, this I think, well, I did not really follow Tristana's items too closely, but I think, yeah, that's what she did. BF Sword into Static Shift into Infinity Edge, which is fine, really. But well, I personally like Infinity Edge Rush better, but maybe that's just the Misfortune habit of stacking attack damage. Nice, Emdiel denying the backup. That was very important actually. I will go over that in a second, but first let's see how it plays out. Alright, alright. Yeah, that's a huge win here. But I need to point out something very important. So where does it happen? I hope I didn't go back too far. Because, well, the Shyvana gets the engage, and yeah, so they're fighting over red buff, and it looks like the situation has resolved itself, but Nidalee now goes in, and the Shyvana jumps in, and now the knee-jerk reaction would obviously to be focusing down the Shyvana, but you see you have a Fizz nearby, and a Rakan joining the fight as well. And, well, if you outnumber them, you will win. So Misfortune now ults there instead of attacking the Shyvana, which does not put pressure on the Shyvana's health bar immediately, but it cuts off the enemy reinforcements. So the Morgana cannot just walk through there because she will lose too much HP or might even just die instantaneously. And the others can also not join through this jungle path. So Misfortune's ulti completely cutting off this choke point, and the Shyvana is isolated. And now she's in, well, a 2v1 and eventually a 3v1 because the others cannot join. As you can see, Morgana needs to retreat. Rakan joins. Now it's a 4v1. Shyvana drops down dead, and now they have numbers advantage. 1, 2, 3, 4 against 1, 2. Maybe somebody else was hiding there. Yeah. I know. It's just 2v4. Obviously, no chance for blue team. Yeah, they just get destroyed. And really, the most important thing in this fight was the placement of Misfortune's ultimate. Very important to cut off choke points. Yeah, the fight was won completely by this maneuver. If it wasn't for that, Shyvana would have gotten backup, and blue team might have gotten the upper hand. Right, so now 3 enemies dead. It's safe to hit the turret, and they are probably just going to take it. Yeah, Morgana cannot stop it. As far as skill order, okay, so what Emdiel does apparently is he maxes E as you're supposed to with Misfortune, and then he splits evenly amongst Q and W, which is probably fine, but I like to just max Q outright and leave W at one point. So I would go E, Q, W. Emdiel, however, he goes E into an even distribution between Q and W. And yes, he the last whisper the one component of the actual last whisper got buffed, so he sat on this component because 20 AD and 20% armor penetration is obviously way better than 10 and 10, and he indeed goes for Lord Dom's third item. That's how we know Emdiel. Now, however, he will definitely buy an Edge of Night. Oof. Rekkles catching a Nidalee there. Yikes. Yeah, blue team now with numbers advantage. We'll see how they get themselves out of this. The flash engage again, and Tristana just... Oh, she does not drop dead, but close enough, I guess. Well, obviously, Rekkles surviving there is huge. Oh well. Again, the correct idea coming from the Rakan with a flash engage, just to prevent any Black Shield shenanigans. So obviously top tower is the next best objective to take, and you need to create some pressure on top lane if you want to set up Baron for your team. And the dive coming out on the Scion. Yeah, Misfortune melting through him. All he has bought is... Well, he has Ninja Tabi and 2 cloth armors, but his first item was a magic resist item, which makes sense against an AP jungler and AP top laner. But this in return means that he takes a lot of damage from the Misfortune. Right, so as a red team you need to take this top tower. The farther out the turret, the easier it is to take, and they already took mid, even 2 towers mid, and 1 tower bot. So this is the easiest to take on the map right now for red team. And also, as I've said, you need to be able to push out this lane, to, or all lanes for that matter, to push the enemy far enough back so you can set up Baron properly. Next dragon is another Ocean Drake. Not too important at this stage in the game, but it's still better than nothing. And Emdiel has bought another serrated duck. Right, dragon spawning, but currently everyone seems to be gathering mid lane for some reason. It's not really much to accomplish there. The outer towers are already gone, and taking an inner one is very risky. But yeah, red team just sneaking the dragon. Blue team does not even attempt to contest it. They're getting out-rotated big time. Okay, a third point in W actually, so W gets priority over Q. In Emdiel's book at least. So point 3 in W, then I guess point 3 in Q. On the next opportunity. Taking red buff, which is fine. You could also give it to the Yasuo, but red buff on the AD carry is never a bad thing. And now this Scion will probably die, because it's very far out of position. And also the misfortune just cuts through him. Okay. And this tower, man, it's still there, and it's creating so much pressure on the red team's top lane. It's unreal. Because the minion wave will never push towards this point, the tower will always cause it to bounce back out. So the minion wave is, the ball is constantly in their side of the field, if you want to put it like this. Oh wait, what? No, Rakan, not too fast. I want to see that. A random spear. Tristana jumping back, so she has no jump. Oof. What was that flash coming from Emdiel? Let's first see how this plays out and then have a closer look. Okay, so Emdiel just dies. Yeah, I'm wondering what this flash was about. So I would guess Rakan could try to initiate and Emdiel just ults. His ult is ready after all. But Emdiel flashes. That must have been a misclick. That's awful AD carry positioning, and you're even wasting your flash for it, so you have no way of escaping. You just die there, obviously. Tristana ults him back, but he's too close to the Vladimir, and the ult finishes him. Yeah, that was awful. I wonder if that was a misclick, because it very much looked like it. And you see the immediate punish. He died with his ult up and with his flash down. That's typically a good sign of you having messed up. However, he did scare the Tristana enough to the point where she just ulted him away. But still. Okay, now Rekkles with triple crit and opting for overheal. Probably, so I would guess his rune page is Fleet Footwork, overheal, Legend Bloodline, because he has no lifesteal in his build, right? And overheal does trigger on his auto attack, so he must have lifesteal in his runes. And Coup de Grace with Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm. That's my guess, but I didn't look it up. Yeah, definitely Legend Bloodline in there. Right. Yeah, red team needs to establish some vision in the Baron pit. And Emdiel working towards his Edge of Night, as we can see. Yeah, I really like this control ward because even when you ward from this side, or as long as you're red team, you want your control ward to be behind Baron, so it's difficult for the blue team to destroy it, but still it's covering the whole pit, right? So yeah, nice control ward placing right there. I like it. Again, if you're blue team, you want your control ward to be right in front of Baron, but as close to Baron's belly as possible, so it still sees the far back of the pit. Because what most people do, they place it right here, and then it doesn't see this ward, for example, which is huge. Leads to so many Baron steals when they're not supposed to happen, just because of bad control ward placing. Yikes, that's a lot of damage. Oh my god! Yeah, but that was not safe. Okay, we'll break this down in a second, but first let's have a look. Right, so red team even comes out ahead. I'm not too sure how. Misfortune is super low. Yeah, Tristana is very ballsy hitting the tower. That's super risky. You should never hit the tower as an AD carry. Except if it's absolutely free and there's no chance of getting punished. Now she's poking the Yasuo, which does work. And she's spell shielded. Oh, that was so unlucky. The spell shield goes away the very second the tornado hits, so she does get knocked up, and Yasuo can ult her. Yeah, this is the hard engage, and let's have a look at the follow-up. So Rakan again, hard engaging, and Misfortune. Yeah, she just ults. That looks buggy. Okay, yeah, Misfortune ult pretty much saves the day there, but the clutch thing was Rekkles getting hit by the Yasuo tornado right as the spell shield times out. Yeah, that was bad luck, but again, you should have a rough idea about how long the spell shield lasts for. But yeah, that was unlucky. It could happen to anyone. But in this case, it might actually cost them the game. Because what red team can do now with numbers advantage, they can destroy the enemy inhibitor and then create pressure around Baron. Or just take it. There's already control ward in the pit. They know they have the blue team has no vision on Baron. And the ping is coming out now. Yeah. However, red team decides to reset first. Yeah, that's fine as well. I mean, if you just wait for the super minions to run it down mid, that's probably better. Oh, okay. Yeah, going back immediately is probably also better, because now you can fight over Baron. Because what the enemy will try to do, they will try to rush a counter Baron, and they have just respawned and have just been in base, so they have board and full health and full mana, and you have not. So going back right there was actually the correct call, and I would have definitely inted in this situation because I would have rushed towards Baron. Yeah, going back there was the correct decision from the red team. And blue team has Baron down to 3k HP. We'll see what happens. Fizz is bot lane. Does he have teleport? Yes, and it's even off cooldown, so he can use it. But we'll see what happens now. The immediate Misfortune ulti. Is this a good ulti? Yeah, I think it's a good ulti. No, this is Vladimir, it's not Shyvana. So, she cannot be interrupted right now. But she's probably just getting one shot. Yeah. Emdiel pretty much sacrificing his life just to get the most value out of his ulti. Or the most damage, rather. But, so they trade 3 for 4. Which is fine. So, wait. I have a knot in my brain right now. How did that happen? So, first of all, it is a 4v5, isn't it? But blue team is weakened by Baron. I just see 4 of them right now. So we have Shyvana here, Tristana. You cannot see the Morgana right now, but she's probably here. And 4 members of red team, but Fizz split pushing bot lane. Right, so the ulti coming out, the suicide ulti. And yeah, the Morgana was right around the corner. So it was a 4v5, but Baron weakening the blue team pretty much makes it a 5v5 because Baron was attacking the enemy team, so he's kind of on red side's team. Okay, but now he's also attacking the Rakan. Now it's reset. And oh, Yasuo ulting the Morgana. Oh, nice plays. Nice. Okay, the Yasuo definitely popping off right there. That was crazy good. And now they have no one to respond to the Fizz, which means they lose bot inhibitor for free. And when you lose bot inhibitor, you pretty much lose Baron at the same time, because you will need to respond to the pressure there. Or does Fizz just finish? Nah, he can't finish. Tristana is alive and the others are respawning soon. Or can he? Alright. No, he can't. But very well played by Rekkles. it's pretty hard not to die immediately against the Fizz as an AD carry. But he played around him perfectly. And managed to defend the Nexus. So blue team still hasn't lost yet, but it's looking grim. Because as I've said, now they don't even have Nexus towers, and you need to respond to bot lane pressure, to the super minions coming there. And bot lane is obviously farthest away from the Baron pit, which then allows the other team to just take it, pretty much. Because they also see you clearing super minions. So they know you're not there. Right, Sion getting caught out. Oh, that was a bad ulti. Oof, that was not good. That was not good. Trading 1 for 1 when you didn't need to. Then Misfortune ult now on cooldown. Wait, before anything happens I want to see... Okay, yeah, he does level them both up side by side, and also always 1 point ahead in W as opposed to Q. So if they're even levels, he levels W, and then he levels the other one. Alright, now let's see what happens. No Misfortune ulti, but Misfortune is super fed, so autos will do a lot, yeah. Let me just look at the items. It's 3 lethality items, plus it's Serrated Dark, plus Lord Dominic's Regards. So Edge of Night, Dustblade, Ghostblade, Serrated Dark, and Lord Doms. You cannot get more lethality than that. Or armor penetration rather. But you shouldn't be fighting right there, that's just greedy. Yeah, that was so dumb. Fizz was seeing the trophy already. He saw the unprotected, quote unquote, Nexus. So quote unquote unprotected, because it's very much protected by the enemy team members. And what is he trying to accomplish? I'm not too sure. But oh well. Happens, I guess. Happens. Oh well. As I've said, all red team needs to do is wait for bot lane pressure to accumulate. And also they still have mid lane inhibitor, keep that in mind. And yeah, this is the perfect opportunity to just start Baron. This is exactly what Emdiel does. Correct call in my opinion. However, this positioning, when you're behind Baron, he takes less damage from you and he deals more damage to you. But yeah, on this side, being on this side is nice because you can still rotate behind it as Misfortune and just ult out of the pit to ult the enemy away, just in case anybody approaches. Because if you're standing there, you're just pretty much frontlining the enemy team. So tough spot for an AD carry to be in when you're taking Baron from the red team's side. But well, they took it obviously for free because super minions are a thing and creating pressure. And now all they need to do is run it down top lane with Baron. This tower standing its ground for more than half an hour into the game. But yeah, all red team needs to do now is run it down top with super minions, or not with Baron minions, while the super minions do their jobs in the other lanes, and they pretty much win for free. In theory. In theory. We'll see what happens. Nidalee should definitely join, and Fizz should also join the top lane. They don't accomplish much mid lane. It's way safer to just crack open the free towers right there. And they will need to pay attention to the other lanes because of super minions alone. Well, on the other hand, this is respawning soon, and there are no Nexus towers, so running it down other lanes might also work. Final team fight, I guess. Sion trying to hard engage on the enemy backline. So we'll see, we have 3 people here. 2 people here out of position. Had they joined top lane earlier, this would have been a much better look for red team. But yeah, now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Trying to crush those 3 members with those 2 being too late. At least that's what blue team hopes right now. We'll see what happens. Misfortune dodges the CC, which is important. Ooh, yikes. Yeah, Vladimir probably kills her, right? Oh, goodness. The raw damage. Okay, let's have a look again. So Vladimir dives onto the Misfortune, which is a problem. Again, also, I really think Emdiel undervalues Grievous Wounds. I would go for a lot, not for Lord Doms, but for, what's his name? Motor Reminder every time if there's a Vladimir on the enemy team. But oh well. Vladimir Zhonya's, which now is a nice window of opportunity for Emdiel to press his ultimate, since he cannot be killed by the Vladimir while he's in Zhonya's. And Sion drops dead, Vladimir dies to 1 auto, and Morgana also dies. Alright, so this should be the game. Yeah, red team also needs, or blue team needs too many resources to defend their Nexus, and Fizz now finally gets rewarded by blowing up the enemy Nexus. Okay, so there you have it. Both teams played rather well in my opinion, but yeah, one of the clutch points, well, blue team pretty much lost through the rotations because they had consistently pushing the waves into their base, which allowed the red team to snowball their leads by getting free objectives. They took dragons for free, for example, sometimes not even getting challenged. And but probably one of the biggest issues was the one fight where the Shyvana got caught out here, right? Or here rather, she tried to hard engage, but Emdiel just caught off the entire jungle with his ulti, which won the fight on the spot and gave red team a big lead. And afterwards, well, Tristana got some nice kills and a nice siege here on this tower, but she was a little bit too aggressive with her positioning and got Yasuo ultied right as spell shields timed out, so that was unfortunate, but also very aggressive from the Tristana. So yeah, small losses from the blue team just accumulating into a big lead for the red team, and then snowballing through victory. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened in this game. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it fun and interesting and entertaining, and you learned something from it. But as of today, I hope you have a nice afternoon, and I also hope to see you tomorrow. Bye!